and 3, Tampa Bay Area, the real Bay Area. Hey, look here, man. Welcome to Konan's No Losses, Just Lessons. Your boy Mike Trigg, my co-host.
Salva Baptiste. Welcome, Tampa, for another episode of No Losses, Just Lessons. Today, we're going to talk about family business. And anybody out there that know or have a family business, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. But to set this up, I'm going to give you a definition of family business legacy. Encompasses the enduring influence, values, and principles a family and its business leave behind across generations, being for children, grandchildren, other family members, and sometimes friends. That's what describes the legacy of a family business. And today, I'm going to ask Mike to help me understand this concept, to help us understand this concept of the legacy of a family business. Mike?
Yeah, so my grandfather started Big John's in '68. And when I realized I was a part of that family, for me to be able to go into that restaurant and go behind the counter, and I knew I wanted to become an owner of something. And but to understand the legacy, so, you know, I don't work at Big John's, but I'm in the same business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
that's the legacy we're
right,
talking about.
Exactly. So, so the things that I do here is kind of different from Big John's, but my grandfather started this, and I'm just keeping it going.
Right. So just to add to that, your legacy is that your grandfather planted the seed in you by showing you different techniques in the restaurant. So
I'm gonna tell you, and you're so right. So my grandfather was a real proud man, and he really didn't. Me and this guy's a lot alike because, you know, I need money, but I don't really care about money.
Right.
And he was the same way. My grandfather, he talked to me. He said, "The white man called me Mr. Big John. What they gonna call you?"
Right.
So it was about respect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He had 3rd grade education.
Right.
And the owner of business, when he died, he was well off. You know what I'm saying? And left a business so powerful that my family members have only worked there.
Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And I want to just add on to that, because that's very important what you just mentioned about family members working in the business.
Yeah.
And I want to give some small business administration statistics. Small businesses employ 61.7 million Americans, totaling 46.4 of the private sector employees. That's huge. So they are in places like Konan BBQ, small business.
Right.
From 1995 to 2021, small businesses created 17.3 million net new jobs, accounting for 62.27% of net jobs created since 1995.
Wow.
Important in our community, small businesses, because it's about job creations. So what you say about that statistics?
I was over here, sir. Over here. I didn't know that.
Yes.
You know, I was blown away by it actually, but I just know here we try to find work for people that in need.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can be, you know, full staff, but somebody come in, and I always I said, well, look, man, we're not hiring right now, but if you want to split some wood for me today,
right,
want to clean the parking lot, something like that. I try to, you know, just always have that door open for people. And then you might know, there might be a great worker, and you say, you know what, I got to keep this person around. So then you bring them in the part-time, and then when something open up, get a full-time slot. So, I commend everybody with the small businesses that create these jobs for people in need.
Right. And people think it's the big corporations. It's not the big corporations. It's the small businesses who employ their families, so their families won't be unemployed, who have a job and don't have to go seeking a job. They invest everything into the family business.
Yeah, that's sometimes, Saba, you know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about the legacy and being a family business, that's the hardest thing sometimes is to work with family, because if it's not a joint venture, you have a person, the hierarchy is at the top.
Right.
So everybody, and then when it's a cash business, they see what comes in.
Right.
And they want what you have.
Right.
But they didn't invest what you invested. And I ran into that problem. And man, it's been tough sometimes, you know?
Right. So let's talk about Hubert done another study, moving a family business beyond the founder vision.
Wow.
And many entrepreneurs generate a huge amount of wealth that they want to pass on to their children and grandchildren. It's the next generation dilemma to understand how the business have supported and thrived throughout the many years, to actually put in the effort to continue, whether it's in an expansion, multiple stores with the same concept,
Yeah.
or to stay in the business with management and executives and employees,
Right.
all family members.
Right. So, okay, here at Konan's, I have my daughter Jada, who's about to leave and going to the Army, and my son, my oldest son DJ. He comes in on his off day. He's a firefighter, and he probably spends 3 days as a firefighter and the other 3 days at Konan's. You know, I tell him to take some break. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
really, he's going to be the guy that's going to carry this place
Okay.
on. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because we've talked about the vision. I got a friend named Rodney. He's going to come in and he's going to be another person. So it don't have to be family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it has to be somebody that has a vision and understand the vision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I got things lined up in the trust for my kids because my grandfather at Big John, they didn't have a trust.
Right.
They had a will, and they had things in place for all of them to have their shares, but it didn't quite work out that way. So if you put in the trust, then that's the best way. That's from my lawyer told me to put in the trust, and you won't have those issues.
Right. So a point you just said, so when your grandfather started the business, was he intended for it to be the family business throughout the generation? How did he, to make sure his legacy, his grandchildren, his children continue to have employment in the business?
Right.
So did he teach the family members that this is for us?
So not so much. Yes, he did answer that question. Yes, he did. But with my grandfather, it was more like his kids, and then they taught us. You know, because when my grandfather, when we came around and got into the business, my grandfather was just here coming there with that suit and just sit in the corner.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then every now and then he'd get the fork from, you know, that's even before me. You know what I'm saying? So, but he always intended for his legacy to carry on through generations of his family.
Okay.
You know, so I think that with that being said, and it has for the most part, because my aunt runs it. I think my cousin's the VP, and his sister, her daughter is the manager.
Okay.
So that's two generations right there.
So let me ask you this. How many stores that your grandfather planted the seed in, how many stores do you have in Tampa Bay area that is directly starting from your grandfather, then expanded out in different barbecue?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Every barbecue spot in Tampa, other than Barbecue King and Caldonia's, probably came from my grandfather.
That is from the neighborhood.
Yes, like
Okay.
you got. So right now you have Campbell's. My auntie had 3 restaurants at one time. She was the GOAT.
Okay.
To be honest, out of my grandfather's kids, my auntie April, she was the one.
Okay.
You know, she had them on Northdale,
Okay.
South Tampa, and Town and Country. She was the GOAT.
Okay.
She was, I think, in my opinion, she was more like him,
Okay.
far as in the business savvy.
Right. Did she embrace the family model?
Oh, yes, she did, because her daughters.
Okay.
Her daughters
Daughter.
worked in there,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So she did embrace the family model
Okay. Okay.
very well. And right now, it's VJ's Barbecue. Her daughters still work with her on Southdale Mabry.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's instilled in us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just my kids, they're college educated, and they got different things, they got their own lives. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, and you can't force it on them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But DJ, he college educated, got his career, and he still comes back. So
Right. Right. Because he understands the importance
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
Right. Continue the legacy.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. How did you go about identifying the family members that would perpetuate and continue the business? Because it's got to be tricky, right? And how did you identify the family members and your friends that's going to be a part of this legacy at one point in time?
Just through their work ethic and through conversation. You know, when I talk about this business in great detail,
Right.
we have some intimate conversation about what I want, and then I see how they work.
Right.
The best thing we have here is customer service, and they embody that in everything they do here.
Okay.
So I know that's somebody that's going to propel me,
Okay.
propel this business when I'm long gone to the forefront.
Okay.
You know,
Great.
keep it right there. You know.
Great. So, since it's a family business and it's friends, what is your teaching and training program look like to make sure that those skills are incorporated? And how much time do you collaborate with the other businesses in Tampa? Like, if the emphasis is on Big John's, how much influence have Big John's have been in helping your business grow? What kind of information they instill into Konan BBQ?
So I got my start there. I worked at Big John's in probably like maybe 90, 91. And I worked there as an educator when I was teaching at James. I worked there at night. But as far as saying, I really didn't get too much from them. I get more stuff from Auntie April.
Okay.
BJ's.
Okay.
Because I said, April, because she cooked the best ribs. I said, April, how you get the ribs that soft?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She said, well, I cook them in indirect heat for like 30 minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can eat it with no teeth.
Right.
And so things like that, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I will lean on Auntie April more so than Big John's for information.
But it comes out of the family still.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So how have this transition, building the restaurant, because everybody need institutional knowledge.
Right.
And so who do you think from that seed that came in and say, okay, we have one here, Konan BBQ, we have 3 over here with BJ's and so on and so forth. Who is the leader of this whole concept in that particular family tree?
Well, if I had to say, it would be my Auntie April, to be honest, because she did it. Like April kind of did it like I did it.
Okay.
Got my own.
Okay.
I think my grandfather, I'm pretty sure he helped April early on, but April been self-sufficient forever.
Okay.
He might have helped her get 1, but she had 3.
Okay, so you have a mentor in this business from your family. That's awesome.
Definitely. And like Big John, so like for what April and myself have done, it got to be commendable.
Right.
Because my grandfather's legacy is solidified, and that building is there.
Right.
That's what he did, and they keep it going.
Right.
So what I did was,
and they remodeled it a couple of years ago.
And, so it's no, that's our building. You know what I'm saying? So what April's done, straight up, I got to get it from the mud by myself. Boom, boom, boom. Here, I had no help. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my cousin Marco. I know my grandparents gave him money to start businesses, and he didn't do it, but it didn't have the success that I have today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess, it was just the grace of God.
Right. So just to kind of like stay there for a moment, if you had to say something to your Big John family, or the whole conglomerate,
Right.
what would you say that would kind of like help you guys realize that we're trying to take this legacy forward?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Because, April keep doing what she's doing.
Right.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm truly blessed to be doing what my grandfather did.
Right. Okay.
I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
I had no idea. My dream job, I thought I was gonna be the athletic director for the district.
Okay.
Well, that's how I educated myself.
Right.
And I had opportunity to be an AD, had opportunity, to keep teaching, but I with my kids, I needed more time for them. I need more money, and I kind of got pushed out with some teachers because I would barbecue at the schools, and they said it's the best barbecue they had. So they kind of pushed me out, and it's been a blessing.
Right. Okay. They gave you the permission to fly.
Yeah,
right.
they did.
Start your own.
Yeah.
That's very good.
And I was willing to jump.
Okay. So when we talk about family business restaurant, there are some essential factors, key factors.
Okay.
One being unique recipes. Develop a strong menu with unique desserts and sauces to attract customers. Do you want to speak on that?
Yes. So when I first started my business, I ran into my auntie Jabessa at Sam's from Big John's. And I was on the baked bean aisle. I was getting these Bush baked beans. He said, "No, baby, put those back. Get your poking beans. You make your baked beans like this right here." And I said, "Auntie, we've been in business over there for six to eight. I gotta have my own flavor. If I did that, if somebody is in East Tampa, they would just go to Big John's. But if I got a different flavor and they want that flavor, they're gonna drive to Carver City."
Right.
So I knew, you know what I'm saying? Then we had this pineapple tea. Now my cousin Cindy says my Uncle Fred recipe, but my mom made it when I was a kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's more, it's recipe. You know what I'm saying?
You grew up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
That being said, but nobody sold pineapple tea until I sold pineapple tea.
Right.
So everything about my business it's a little different from Big John. My recipes are totally different from Big John.
Right. Okay.
I think me and April, we
that's what makes it unique, right?
Exactly.
Unique.
You know what I'm saying? So, but April and I, we use a smoker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And April used to cook on the open pit, but she's a smoker, and she got it down to a science now. The smoker is better for me. You know, because when I was here by myself, I can put the fire in the middle and my meat to the right or left and make my sides. Because I was short staffed, just me.
Right. Yes.
You know, so that's why I used to smoke.
So you learn to manage, right? Multitask and manage, and still turn out a really good product.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's one area. So what do you do in terms of marketing? How do you market? So you don't have to give no key secrets, just general stuff for the public.
Marketing for a small business, even when I first started, I would take jobs where I would break even. Because I know if I put it in their mouth, they say, "Damn, that's a good product." And so when I did that, the best marketing tool you can get is word of mouth.
Right.
Especially for us, in our culture, in our community. Hey man, Konan's got some good stuff over there.
Right.
And then another marketing tool that I don't use it as a marketing tool, I just give a lot. You know what I'm saying? I do.
So that speaks to your community service, right?
Yeah, I give a lot, man. So, and when I do that, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, God bless me.
Right.
Because no business practices don't give the way I give.
Right.
So, and you know, God has sustained it and keep these doors open. So I'm good.
So your marketing is by word of mouth, taste the product that you in the community giving to people to help them, lead them to Konan's and those.
You know, we have like a adult Joe Jackson, my best friend who passed. We have the adult Joe Jackson Basketball League at the Loretta Ingram Recreation Center. I am on the radio.
Right.
So they market it on the radio. Konan's and Dress Code, Neighborhood Barbecue. That's my, you know. So my son crossed Kappa. I changed the name for him. Okay. You know, so it's just, man, God don't owe me nothing.
Yeah.
So,
right. You highly favored.
Definitely.
Yes.
How you doing, okay. All right.
So number 3, the thing that you do so well, customer service.
Oh yeah.
Provide excellent customer service to build loyalty.
That's it. So like on all my receipts, my cell phone is on there. My cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. So they can call me anytime.
Right.
If they got something wrong with their order, if they drove X amount of time and they got there and the food got sauce on, they want sauce on. I say, look, every time they call me, I never give them any attitude. I say, listen, I can cash app you that money back, or when you come back in, I'll take care of you.
Right.
And they love that. But it's still people that will spray you. Us, it's black on black violence, what I like to call it. And it's people that, you know, I guess they be ready for their food and it might be messed up, and they just, before they can get a chance to call me for me to make it right, they go on social media. Konan's ain't nothing, man, you know. And you got to endure that. And you got to still
put out a good product.
The product gonna be what it's gonna be, but then you got to still appreciate that person that threw your name in the mud and say, listen, I just got your post off Facebook. I'm so sorry about that. If you want to come in, I can make it right, or I can cash up your money back. Right. I've done that probably 10 times.
So let's say the person on the other end, for them, hoping that they understand that's your quality of customer service. Because to have a high level customer service, because I took a process management, that's expensive to have a high level customer service. Very expensive process.
You got to, because these people keep the doors open. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I know.
And that leads into the next one, another key factor: effective cost management, control costs effectively to maximize profit. That's the key elements that I just went over.
So with that being said, right, Saba, I struggle with that. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Because it's hard the way I run my business to maximize that.
Right.
Because when the customer come in and say for instance they ordered mac and cheese and baked beans on their food, and they got their tray, they took the tray across the counter already, and it's mac and cheese and potato salad. So I'm losing the side right now. No, keep that. I can't take it back across the counter. We get extra side. That happens a lot. So on my people, I say, hey, look, man, we got to make sure that we're spot on. You know what I'm saying? We got to cut down on the mistakes, because I hate to hear you say my bad. I can't take too many my bads. At work, I can't take too many my bads, because that means you're messing up. And you're moving too fast. And I tell my children, I can't take too many. Dad, you was right. And I tell them all the time, I don't want to be right. Just listen.
Just,
you know, yeah. How you guys doing? All right.
So, okay, so the difficulty, we haven't really unpacked the difficulties or the dynamics behind the scenes, whether it's your store or being family with another piece. So let's talk about how do you interconnected relationships between family members and the business they own, meaning here or out there. However, while legacy encompasses the value and tradition and aspiration passed down through generations. And what this is really talking about, how is it as a family legacy, is there a event or a place where all of you come together and give homage to your grandfather?
No, man, so Saba,
Hi.
How you guys doing, man? What's going on, girl? All right. So Saba, it used to be at 2108 North Grady, my grandparents' house. And when they passed, we have functions at Big John's, but I really don't go anymore. You know what I'm saying? But when my grandparents were living, Saba, Saba, it was the best.
Okay.
It's the best that I've ever witnessed in my life. So that's what I'm in search of. That's what I'm trying to do with my kids.
Okay.
And my family and my dad. You know what I'm saying? I want to show my children what I experienced at my grandparents' house.
Okay.
So, you know, my grandfather was a pastor, my auntie Jabessa, Franny, my Uncle Dave, they all sang.
Right.
And my grandma loved singing. So in church, we had that devotion, and they get to going, oh my God, my cousin Marco, Corey, all of them just great singers.
Okay.
So we've been in that house, and man, it's just like, oh my God. So, you know, we don't have the singers. My kids can't sing like that. We're athletes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to sing some songs myself, you know what I'm saying? So, but
whether it's on key or not.
Right, exactly. But it was just,
it's just a tradition.
Yeah, so they do have functions at Big John's, but I kind of backed out of that, you know?
Okay, and so is it that you backed out because of arguments or differences or people just don't see eye to eye? Why would that be?
I just think that, and this is my opinion. So when you have a business that your parents left to you and your brothers and sisters, they're stakeholders in that business, and you got to consider them.
Right.
You have to consider them.
Yes.
And you know, even like with DJ, he's worked here the most now, and Jada. But when I pass on, they're not more important than my other kids.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Yeah, you work here, you get a check, but you still gonna get your dividends just like theirs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's where it goes wrong for me with my family over there. And so
So do you think it lies in between ownership and management, or intertwined family and business?
ownership and management, because it's like ownership and management because the owners, you know what I'm saying, they got to come together all the time. So when I transition out of here, I got 9 children. Anything concerning Big John, DJ would probably have the nod to make the tough decisions.
Right.
But he have to consider them.
Right.
That's what is how I set up in my trust. You understand? And so when you do it that way, everybody's happy.
Okay.
Then you can be a great family.
Okay.
You can have those family moments to honor me.
Okay.
Like we used to honor my
Right.
grandparents.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But
Right.
so like with my family, my grandparents, man, my dad used to cut the yard because he does lawn care and he has property. So my dad used to cut the yard at Big John's.
Okay.
Went to Frank used to bake the pies. My grandma gave her the recipe.
Okay.
Fred used to work in the business.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Dave worked in the business. Monty Eunice, that's her baked bean recipe. So all of them had their part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when my grandparents was living, everybody did things that were pleasing to satisfy the love and gratification of their parents.
Yes, that's true.
And then when they left, man, it's just like,
It fell apart.
yeah. So, but I tell my kids when I transition out of here, no, man, it got to be the same.
So would you say that the separation was based on generational differences, or would you say it's just a conflict of who is more deserving than the others? Which one you think?
I think that's more the conflict of who they think is more deserving than the
Okay.
others. But everybody's equal.
Right. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that can't even happen.
Yes.
You know?
Okay. So where do you think that came from there? Why do you think that came?
I have no earthly idea. And I can't even speak on it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I just, so with situations like that, so Saba, I look, I learn, and I'm teaching my children.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it today.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
so what about the communications? What aspect of it, what tool do you guys use to communicate with your family now
Yeah.
to make sure they all on the same page?
Yeah, we have candid conversations about the business, and we got other business that me and my oldest girls doing, Maya and Maya and Snuggie,
Okay.
Mikhail, MT.
Okay.
Everybody with the next MT, we got some things that we're working on right now. Just us MTs.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I mean, it's gonna be great, man. I'm
That's good.
I'm so encouraged for what God got in store
That's
for me
good.
and my kids.
So, okay, so I want to talk about, you mentioned throughout the way, but I think the succession plan, you say you have a trust, you say you already got the key person that everybody got to come together and collaborate on.
Right.
But the succession plan is more about now all of those people that's in there, are they training to take over those positions that you have designated them in?
Yeah, so the thing about it, I'm 51, my cousin Kevin, he works here, and Kevin is 50. Rodney, that's my guy, he's up in age, so we got to get some younger people in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? DJ is 29. My son Shane, he's up in North Carolina, but he's worked here also.
Right.
Mike, you know, he said, man, I got to go to the pros, man. I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? Know what he's saying? But he can work here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. It's always an option.
yeah. So as long as we keep the doors open,
Right.
we want to employ the family. You know, but we just not employing them to give them a check. You got to earn this check.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as they understand that concept, my daughter Maya is probably the best cashier I ever had. You know what I'm saying? Customer service, impeccable. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then we got Snug. I mean, I got some pieces. You know, I have to
So
pay.
who you train on the grill? Who that's essential.
Well, DJ does it all. DJ can do it all. DJ and Shane, they'll probably be my grill guys.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, they if they came in right now, they can cook it, and DJ is real close to being a master griller.
Right.
And Shane got to slow down to become a master griller.
Okay.
You know, he's an artist. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. How do you see the recipes that you use now?
Right.
They're very good food.
I appreciate that.
How do you continue those recipes, and how do you know when it's time to increase the success or change out in your recipes? When do you understand that?
Y'all good. So Saba, I'm gonna just tell you something, man. I don't think my grandfather. They may have added collard greens and mac and cheese, but we have those as well. So I wouldn't change a thing. You know what I'm saying? If anything that I would like to add, when I get I guess more space, I like to add the grilled chicken salad. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
So you're saying that your pricing, your food, everything that you have selected now, it could sustain the next generation?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I definitely think so. And because it's barbecue, Saba. You know what I'm saying? So like, so when I first started, I was doing baked beans and potato salad.
Right.
You know, and then I went to green beans, corn on the cob, mac and cheese.
Right. Okay.
You know, then I got the rice.
Okay.
Okay, so Saba, you gotta realize right here, when you start a business, you can't, when you start a business, you gotta have that stuff every day. So you gotta be very, very selective
Right.
what you have, because people come in, they taste it and they like it, they come in for that
For
taste.
that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like having a sofa restaurant. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? People call me all the time. Trigg, I'm starting a barbecue business. I want your input. I say, well, what you need? Like, so we go to lunch and we talk. I say, what do you want to sell? I want to sell this. I say, you realize you gotta have that every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know how your business is gonna start off. It's gonna just fly off. It might take off slow.
Right.
So you gotta have a good meat. The ribs and chicken gotta be impeccable. Sausage, you can't mess that up. So if you got ribs and chicken that's pretty good, and you got a good baked bean and potato salad, and then you add another side as your business grows. You know what I'm saying? Then you add another side, and before you know, you got a full menu.
Right.
You know?
Right. So I would like for you to tell me, if you had to, tell me what you would tell your grandfather that helped start. Look in the camera and say
Father, listen,
to your
me and my grandfather have conversation all the time.
Okay,
So like, I remember when I first started the business, and I started to get some foot traffic.
right.
And, you know, so I had to employ more people. And my granddaddy said to me, I cooked and chopped everything for the first 20 years. And you let somebody else cook your meat already. So he was telling me to get my butt back on the grill.
Right.
I'm saying, he was telling me to be more involved in my business. You know what I'm saying? But if I can talk to my granddaddy right now, he challenged me in a conversation. He was in the back room at my grandma's house. And I went back there to see him. And he said, what say, boy? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I said, what's going on, man? And he said, what you doing? He said, the white man coming, Mr. Big John. And he smiled with a grin, you know. He was so proud of that, man.
Right.
Because coming from Alabama, all during the Jim Crow era, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, what they gonna call you? And that was enough for me.
Right.
I didn't know I was gonna do barbecue, but I know I can be respected.
Right.
You understand? So that challenge, and then, you know, I ended up doing the same thing he did.
Right.
And they called me Konan. He called me Konan. Big
That's
John.
beautiful. Yes. So what we just went through
Wow.
are concepts that are work in any business, and something that is evident: hard work, never giving up, having a great product, customer service, planning for the future, identifying those individuals, and realizing that it's a long road. It doesn't just happen overnight. And so I think we have exhausted the subject of legacy. And our topic today was who gets to continue the legacy in a family business?
And make sure it has to be the right person to push the family agenda
Right.
for the business.
That's great.
It has to be the right person.
That's great. That's good information.
Yeah.
Yes, and push the family agenda forward.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody, every family members, my kids are individuals, but collectively they have to come together
Yes.
to do what's best for the business and push the family agenda.
Exactly, unity in a family legacy business. So those concepts work across the board, no matter which business you have. And so, thank you.
Hey, I appreciate this, but that was pretty good, man. You did the research and the lead work on it.
Yes.
And man, we're just truly blessed, man. So until next time,
Yes.
cowboy,
No losses, just lessons.
on the yo.